Welcome, wrestling fans. It is Wrestling Revolution. Keaton here, coming to you from the Bowlers Exhibition Centre for the biggest convention in all of Europe. It is time for the For the Love of Wrestling convention. Now let's enter the doors of the Bowlers Exhibition Centre. The place was packed with thousands of wrestling fanatics. There were so many great costumes this year as well, such as the Fiend Bray Wyatt, the Wise Man Paul Heyman. This one is so realistic. Chyna. She really did look like the real Chyna. I also got a photo at the Taker UK experience. Make sure to follow them at taker.uk on Facebook. And there was also a Conor McGregor cosplay as well. They had chairs from some of the most memorable wrestling events, such as Monday Night Raw, the Royal Rumble, ECW, and last but definitely not least, WrestleMania, just to name a few. The stands at For the Love of Wrestling were amazing this year, so let's have a look at some of them. Look at how realistic this artwork looks. Look at Jake the Snake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rey Mysterio, Ric Flair and Jeff Hardy. This artwork is a masterpiece. I had a great chat with the author of two of the most fascinating wrestling books of all time, Dynamite and Davey and the Man of All Talents. These two books give you close insight into the lives of Douglas Clark and the British Bulldogs. He was selling these two books for only £30. This stand here was for sure a fanatic's experience for me. I'm a big World of Sport wrestling fan, and this was absolutely incredible to see. Archie Stubbs put his British wrestling memorabilia on display. Look at some of these posters. Giant Haystacks versus Big Bill. Pat Roach versus Ray Steele. This is a poster for the legendary British wrestling match that is still talked about till this day. Mark Rocco versus Marty Jones. Two legendary WWE superstars, Bret the Hitman Hart and the Dynamite Kid, were also facing each other on this poster. I couldn't believe what I had just seen. He has the original World of Sport wrestling belt. A signed poster from one of my favourite British wrestlers of all time, Mark Rocco. Take a look at this. Some of the most rare wrestling figures to date. Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, along with the British Bulldog. That is crazy. Look at that. Am I seeing this right? He has Kendo Nagasaki's black mask and it's signed by Kendo. Behind that is Kendo Nagasaki's shirt that he wore to the ring. He even has a Columbia CD of Big Daddy and the Titanic survivors. I took a photo at the set of Brutus the Barber Beefcake's barbershop. Look how cool this is. A photo at WCW's Monday Nitro. It looks just like the entrance stage they used to walk on. Big shout out to Paul Crease for this incredible collection of CMLL and AAA wrestling figures. Let's take a look at some of the wrestling figures on sale. There's an Elite Titus O'Neil from the Royal Rumble, the greatest Royal Rumble ever, for £10. Pretty good packaging too. And beside Titus O'Neil, we have Scarlett. This is actually the first ever Scarlett figure I've ever seen. Very rare figure to see. You wouldn't normally see a Scarlett figure. For only £20 as well. Saturday night's main event edition, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes figure. Beside Cody, we have another Saturday night's main event edition, NXT's Duke Hudson from Chase University. Very good attire and very good detail on that figure there. Whoa, look at that packaging on that. Charlotte Flair. Beside Charlotte, we'll have LA Knight in the same packaging. That packaging is so cool. And we have another one of Rey Mysterio, Hall of Fame edition. There's the same attire Dominic Mysterio wore to WrestleMania against Rey. Very good attire. Then we have an elite Ronda Rousey. Oh, and look at that. The first AEW figure we have seen yet of Sting. Some very cool figures there. The stands this year had so much selection, from collections to stands to figures, it had it all. But Mike Chioda was joining the panel for a live interview with SoCal Val. I couldn't miss that, so I joined and got a very good seat in the front row. As Mike Chioda was making his way to the ring, he was nice enough to give me a photo. Now let's hear what this legendary WWE referee has to say.
Seeing you here in Manchester is so amazing. Isn't it an honor to have you all the way here in Manchester?
Hey! It's great to be here back in England. I've been coming, God knows, since the late 80s, and my first big show in London, Wembley Stadium in 1992, and I've always loved the fans in it, and I love for it.
There's a lot of love for you in England, isn't that right, Manchester? This is a road rush. They're thrilled to have you here, as am I. We were chatting a little bit earlier about your travels, your career. My gosh, you guys, spanning 3 decades with WWF, WWE, and in all of your travels, do you actually get to see some of the cities and soak up the culture, or are you too busy to see it?
No, I always, you always found time in the morning, whether it was late night or after the shows, still got, the nightlife and stuff like that, nightlife times in Manchester, England. I just enjoy living England, all over, Sheffield, here, just everywhere, Birmingham. And I love the Monopoly pop out there, I'll tell you that, it's a hell of a dessert.
A lot of good food, a lot of good nightlife here in Manchester. You guys have to come to this table later and give us some recommendations for sure. Now, before we get to the fan questions, I know you guys are going to have some great questions for Mr. Chioda. I mean, I don't even know where to start with your career. This is the problem. There's too many highlights to go through as far as moments.
And you have one for the in-ring as well.
I mean, there's a ton of moments. It started in 1985, and Gorilla Monsoon's family, Joey Morello, and became a referee in 1987. And I had to pay the dues as far as ring crew stuff. I did for 20 years. And I finally made my debut on TV in 1989. Actually, the first biggest show, I said, at Wembley Stadium in London, here in 1992 with 82,000 people. It was an amazing experience. I didn't do the main event, Joey did the main event. British Bulldog and Bret Hart. But what amazing, I found the crowd here in Europe so much more exciting than the United States. The chants, the horns, everything. It really pumps you up, especially for me.
There's something about the UK fans, they make me a little hungrier for it. The European fans don't get the wrestlers come over here as often as we do. Thanks for the love of wrestling, that's now fixed. But a quick question before you go to the fans. I remember seeing you on season 2 of Tough Enough.
Right.
And now we have WWE, we've got LFG coming out very soon. When it comes to the younger generation and the up-and-comers as far as wrestlers, what are you looking for when it comes to maybe a connective factor? What do you think makes the perfect superstar? Because you've seen them all.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a little bit of everything. You gotta have talent in the ring, you gotta have charisma. You gotta be able to cut promos on the mic, backstage stuff, everything. I mean, you can be sometimes you can be the biggest wrestler, the biggest guy, but if you didn't have charisma, the company would kind of, and the fans would really a different story. So, I see a lot where it's like a lot of talent came through the business that I thought would make it, but didn't make it. And the talent that I didn't think would make it, made it.
Who surprised you the most? Why is it also?
I want to say The Rock. I mean, The Rock came in, Jerry Curls and this rocking idea. I'm like, who's this guy? So I mean, you need that transition where we would dress together in TV locker room. He would spend 3 hours on his promos. In the mirror, he'd go over with me, Gigi, what do you think of this? That? And he'd be like, cut these promos where it's like, little Rudy Boo, running down your legs, dropping tears from your ass. Like, you're gonna say that to the fans? So I mean, I see The Rock just make so many transitions and then became somebody. He's the icon. Look at him now, and
He's doing pretty well for himself now.
the Miz was unbelievable.
I think we both have that in common. They put a lot of work into it. The Miz being on the reality shows, always said I want to be a wrestler. Was never ashamed of being a fan. I love that about the Miz. And you get memories from working with the Miz.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great times working with The Miz. The one that stands out at WrestleMania when he won the title. And I actually didn't know he was concussed. He was concussed for quite the whole match. And I was telling him spots and calling him spots when he was dancing. And I didn't know he was really concussed. And it was. And I remember him winning the title and everything. And he came back and I'm like, "Is you okay, kid?" And he's like, "Yo, I don't remember. I didn't remember anything. Whole match." I'm like, "You just won the title. And you don't remember anything." If he doesn't finish that match, he may never ever get a chance again to win that championship title. But yeah, that's one thing that he talks about in the interview the time and how he helped the match and everything. He doesn't make it through that match. He never gets that same opportunity.
We have the memory, and you have the memory. It sounds like he does not have the memory, so that's a good shame.
Yeah.
Good gracious.
He watched the back of this.
Well, again, I can fangirl all day, guys. We are for the fans, by the fans. Let's go to the fans now with a question. Mr. Booker is going to pick a winner over here.
Well, this is the first time that's gone up for this year's World of Wrestling. I'm going to step forward, sir. I'll hold my gun for you. What's your name, my friend? And what's your question for my gun?
Well, thank you so much for being here. My question is, you've been in the middle of all the biggest matches throughout all the time that I've watched wrestling. Which match out of these 12 weeks through gave you more satisfaction? Icon versus Icon WrestleMania 18, or the one we had first at WrestleMania Money in the Bank last year with Seth Rollins?
And growing up, starting in the business in 1985, that's actually a really good question. I have to say Rock and Hogan. Growing up with Hogan, and what he's done in business early in the 80s, mid-80s, and 90s, and then Rock, it was just the reaction to the Toronto Skydome, the band there, was amazing. I mean, so I was just like, I was in the business, it was what, 2002, so I was in the business 17 years. And I marked out as a fan. And I'm just sitting over in the corner, and them staring down at each other. And I'm like, oh my God, we got these fans. Like, they didn't even do anything yet. Like, this crowd is going nuts. And just with like the old school push off, shoulder tackle, and that was just, that was some moments of memory.
Totally agree, yes. That face off, it seems like last time
Put your hand up, really
I
high.
marked out at skills, I was going
With the UFC, for you to mark out, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty big
17
moment.
years in the business,
Yeah.
I'm marking out.
They still got you. I like to hear that. Let's go to another question, Mr. Rooker.
I've got to get my steps in as well. That's not what I do, guys.
I couldn't believe it. I was about to just make you a question.
What's your question? Favorite memory as a WWE referee?
I see, favorite memories is like doing matches like Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon, Rock and Hogan, that kind of fun. Seth Rollins, actually Money in the Bank. Actually, like my second favorite cashier besides Seth Rollins is, but it's Carmella. That was actually a pretty funny cashier. So, like my second favorite all the cashier.
So good. Any Carmella fans in the audience? Got one right here.
Next up on the panel was the Mighty.
man in the WWF. I was there for 11 years. WWF, WWE. And no matter if it was tag team, I think of the guys that I work with, the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. What great matches we had. I think of the Hart Foundation. What great matches we had. I think of the Steiner brothers that we did as the Quebecers. But also in singles. I think of guys that like Coco Beware, Hiro Santana. Guys that I went in the ring and who could forget Big Boss Man? Who could forget the night that I was sent to jail? And Madison Square Garden, I sure never forgot it. Especially when they put me in that cell with a gay guy. I had to spend the night there. But so I had a lot of fun in singles and tag teams. There was such great talent there. So I favor both of them, to be honest. But you know, there's one match that a lot of you people don't know. And it's because it wasn't on pay-per-view, and it wasn't seen nowhere except maybe on social medias. But did you guys know? Now this is for all you people out here. I'm going to tell you something you probably don't know. But I am the only Canadian to get a clean pinfall 1, 2, 3 on Hulk Hogan. And if you go on your social media, Jacques Rougeau versus Hulk Hogan in front of 20,000 people at the Molson Center in Montreal, Hulk did a favor for me. And I will never forget that. And a lot of people ask me, who's the greatest wrestler of all time? Well, there's a lot of them out there. But who did the best for wrestling? For me, it's Hulk Hogan.
After having a look around for the love of wrestling, it was time for the best bit. It was time for a meet and greet with Heath Slater.
Are we live? Are we shooting? Oh, baby! You are watching live wrestling. Yeah, go ahead and mess it up. Let's start that over. Wrestling Revolution with Keith.
Yep.
Okay. We ready? Oh, baby! You are watching Wrestling Revolution with Keith.
After messing up a couple of times, he successfully done an introduction to my YouTube channel. What a nice guy he was. Took a photo at the APA protection door. Next up was WCW legend Lex Luger, the same, my Funko Pop. After I met Lex Luger, I waited in line to meet legendary ECW wrestler Sabu. What a great time I had at this year's For the Love of Wrestling convention. On the 22nd and the 23rd of March, Monopoly events returned to Buller's Exhibition Centre in Manchester for Horror, Rock and WrestleFest. If you want to know what goes on behind the scenes at this fabulous wrestling convention, make sure to check out episode 22 of Kayfabe with Keaton, where I interview the guest logistics manager of For the Love of Wrestling. I'll leave a link in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And hopefully, I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.